Hey everybody, welcome to this week's webinar. We're here at the My Swing studio in Scottsdale, Arizona, which is a 3D motion capture system. A lot of you know we're having Waste Management open in Scottsdale today. It's actually on in the background. It's a little cool here, but warmer than everywhere else in the country, basically. As usual, we're brought to you by Medicus Golf and KickX Golf. So if you have any questions, just put them in the sidebar and I'll get to them after we talk about today's subject. So every week I ask you guys to send me topics on what you'd like to hear. And this week the topic is, what is your pre-shot? And originally they wanted it just for full swing, but we're going to go through pre-shot with all your different shots, whether you're hitting a full swing, whether you're hitting a chip shot, a pitch shot, a putt. It doesn't really make a difference. You have to have a pre-shot. I hesitate to call it routine because every shot you hit is not routine and is not the same. So we just refer to it as pre-shot. So again, if you have any questions, just put them there in the sidebar and we'll get started here. So if you watch the best players in the world, they all have some form of pre-shot. Whether it is a feel on what they want the club to do. So, you know, Ricky Fowler kind of goes, sets the club up like this. You'll see Jordan Spieth go here to here, trying to get a feel of that club moving left through impact. You'll see other players trying to go out more. That's just part of their feel process. But their pre-shot is they'll stand behind the golf ball. Now I'm going to move over this way just a bit. They'll stand several feet behind the ball. They'll find the line they want the ball to start on. Now typically what they do, and I'm going to move this ball back so you can see it in my screen here. Typically what they do is they're finding a piece of turf, a leaf, a twig, something that is in line with their golf ball. In fact, you'll see a lot of them stand back here and hold the club up like this. What they're trying to do is they're lining the shaft where they want that ball to start. And as they drop it down, they find something in that line. So when they come up, they're aligning their club face not only to the ball and into their start line, but they're looking at their start line, which is this piece out here. Now, Jack Nicklaus did it a little bit differently. He actually drew a line before and after the ball. So when he came up to it and he got set, you'd always see him go look, look, look. And he'd waggle again. He'd look at behind, at the ball, and in front of the ball. And he'd waggle again. Then the third time, he would hit the shot. So you want to do a couple of things. You want to find your start line where you want this ball to start. And it's not at the target. Generally, it's right or left of the target, depending on the curvature that you use. And you do that for your full swing. So you also do that for your chip shots. If I was setting up for a chip shot, I'm still going to find where I want this ball to land. And, you know, I typically want it to land about a full pace onto the green. So I'm about 3 feet off. So I'm looking at a spot 3 feet in front, okay, of the edge of the green. I'm looking at a landing spot. So when I make this little chip shot, and this is a 6-iron, so it's not going to go very high, I'm trying to carry the ball to that 3 feet, okay? Now, if I don't carry it to there, typically the ball will not get to the hole. Again, you're trying to go like 3 feet, okay? And hold your finish. Let it look down there. Putting, you'll see them do the same things. Now, with today's aim point, you see players standing behind the ball, and they're going 1, and I'll do it this way so you can see it. They're doing 1, 2, or 3, okay? So they're standing behind the ball. They feel the slope, and they decide what percentage slope it is, and they'll put their fingers up like this. So this would represent the right side of the hole if I'm looking at it. If the putt's going to break left or right, then they'll put the 3 fingers on this side of the hole. So again, they go up, they find that intermediate target, they get set in their putting stroke, and they just try to get the ball started where they want it to originally start for that break they think is going to happen. So the pre-shot is important. Your setup is important. So let's go back to hitting a full swing. So if I want this ball to start a little bit to the right and draw, I'm going to aim my club face where I want the ball to start. Okay, I'll do it this way so you can see it a little bit better. I'll aim my club face where I want the ball to start, and I'll aim my body lines slightly right of the club face. So when I look down, this club face is going to appear to be closed to how I'm standing. Okay, if I'm fading it, it's going to look just the opposite. But always have your pre-shot. If you're disrupted, start all over again. I can tell you, years ago, I was playing in a pro with Billy Casper, which we won by 10 shots over the next nearest team, which is Don January and his teammate. We won by 10 shots. And when we get up there, Billy says, well, how's your putting? I said, well, it's not nearly as good as yours, because he was known as a great putter. But we'd always set up, and again, as you're going through your routine or your pre-shot, Billy was going through his pre-shot, something happened, he backed off, he went back to the bag, put his club in the bag, took off his glove, put it in his pocket, and started all over again. So it went glove, pick the bag, find out where he wants the ball to start, make a rehearsal swing, and start it all over again. So again, if you get distracted, go ahead and start your pre-shot over. It won't hold anybody up, but your pre-shot shouldn't be long and all drawn out either. So just think about that every time you get to whatever shot you want to hit, whether it's a short game shot, a putt, or a full swing. Stand behind your ball, pick out a line where you want the ball to start, and then set yourself up to that start line based on what you want the ball to do in full swing, curving or not. All right, so now I see we have a bunch of questions, so let me go over here and let's start with our questions. All right, so the first question today is from Jay. How can I avoid a cupped wrist in the backswing? All right, so Jay, I'm assuming you mean your wrist looking like this, which is bent this way. So one thing you can do, first of all, you get that. If you take your right wrist and you go like this, you'll notice that my left wrist now has that cup in it. So let's feel your right wrist go this way, bend back on itself. Now, as you can see, that wrist is flat versus bent. So that's one way to do it. Feel like your right wrist is bending backward as you take the club up. Another way to do it would be to feel like you're taking your knuckles on your target side hand and you're rotating them downward. That'd be another way to do it, and it'll look like your club face is closed in that direction, okay? Now, having said that, there's nothing wrong with having this at the top, that bent look, but if you bend it at the top, like this, and you put a little bit more so you can see it that way, then you're going to need to start your downswing by rotating your knuckles the other way. So it feels like you're going, from here, you're going backwards this way. So as long as you get it flat coming down in the impact, that's pretty much all that matters, okay? All right, next question. This question is by Air. Well, Air, we're long into it now, dude, so you need to check with support. Jay, how do you prevent standing up too soon in the downswing? All right, Jay, so if you're somebody that comes into the downswing and you feel like you're coming up this way, and from this angle it would look like this, typically that's because your pelvis is moving forward too early. It's okay to have what's called early extension. You just want it later in the swing. You don't want it earlier in the swing. So you can just put a chair behind yourself or a rod, make your backswing. As you start down, feel like you're pushing that backwards. I'm taking my left cheek, and you can see how the shaft's being pushed behind me. So from the top, instead of your pelvis moving forward this way, just feel it rotating back a little bit. So when you get down here, you want to have this two-cheek look instead of this no-cheek look, okay? Next question. JJ, Sandy, how to prevent deceleration? Well, we've talked about this a lot. Sandy, you can use a rope, you can use a dowel, you can use a club. Deceleration is usually from moving the club way too fast up here. Now it has to slow it down here. There is only one point in the golf swing where you can reach maximum speed, and if you use that point going back, you won't have it coming down. If you use it too quick here, You won't have it coming into the golf ball. So just take a club. As you can tell, I'm just going to bounce it off my shoulder for right now. I think you guys can hear this. See, I'm trying to just keep moving the club. I don't want to go, because now it will slow down all the way. You can do that with a rope. You can also do it with a club or a dowel rod, anything you want to use. So remember, the deceleration is just that you have already accelerated too early. All right, next question. This one is from John. I have two flaws on video. I see a bent wrist at the top, resulting in an open club face, and a sawed right elbow in my backswing, making my elbow flex almost pointing at 90 degrees. Again, going back to this bent wrist at the top, you can do that, but as far as your elbow, you're talking about your elbow going this way, that's okay. It may actually be the way that you need to play golf. You may feel just like this, so you can drive it straight down. The best way to figure that out is to just put your hands together like this. Okay, you put them together like this. You have somebody to hold your shoulders. Now move your hands. I'm going to do it both directions. Mine works this way. Okay, this is how mine works. Some people will work this way. Some people, believe it or not, work this way, which is what you're talking about. And that's okay to do that. It just means from the top of the backswing, you drive the thing straight downward. Okay, straight down this way. If you're someone that looks more like I do, okay, all you're trying to do is get right back to that same location. So I wouldn't worry too much about this. You need to be tested to see which elbow position, which plane would work best for you. You need to find somebody who can test you in that, and that's through BioSwing Dynamics. So try to find an instructor of BioSwing near you, and they'll be able to test you for that, okay? All right, the next question. This is from Doug. I'm a right-handed golfer practicing putts with no break. My putt rolls straight, then turns slightly left its last 6 to 12 inches. Any suggestions on my issue? Well, Doug, if the putt is breaking, it's not a straight putt. It's a breaking putt. So, I mean, if it starts out straight and then breaks, if there is something wrong with your stroke, that would happen right off the golf ball, not 6, 12 inches short of the ball. So I would find a dead straight putt. But the best way to do that is to set up a 2x4. You want to get one that's about 4 foot long. Okay, and you place it with the skinny side down. Then put the heel of your putter up against that 2x4. Now, as you make your backstroke, make sure the heel of the putter stays flat on that board, not opening or closing. And if you put it back far enough on the board, so if you have a 4-foot board, just put it right about in the middle. If you're actually closing the face coming through, this ball is going to hit the front board. Okay, if it's not hitting that board, then you're not closing the face. So that 2x4 drill is the best way to do that. And actually, if you go to my website, chuckevans.golf.com, and you type in putting drills, you'll probably find it up there on the website. All right? Next question. All right, so this question is from Dave. I flare my lead foot more than my back foot. So using my toe line for alignment doesn't work very well. Do you have any suggestions? I now use my inner ankle bones or heels to confirm. So I'm going to lay this shaft down so you can see it hopefully. All right, so if I stand up here at my feet, dead square. Now, right now they're at a right angle. Okay, I don't have any foot flare in them at all. Now I turn my left foot out 45 degrees. All right, well, if I look down, it does look like I'm open with my foot stance. But you'll notice my heels are still on the line. So I would place a rod or a shaft right behind your heels, okay, and make sure that no matter how much foot flare you have, I mean, I'll show you this amount. I can have this much amount of foot flare, and my heels are still level, okay? They're still in line. So I'd put something down behind your heels to watch that alignment. All right, next question. All right, this question is from Lloyd. I always aim to the right, have a hard time getting it correct. Do you have a sense of aiming left when you're correctly aligned? There was, a few years ago, one of the golf magazines ran a test on right-handed golfers. They had over 1,000 golfers. They had them set up to the golf ball in what they thought was square, and 78% of them were aimed to the right. So right-handed golfers, the tendency is to aim right. And that's actually what you want to do if you're trying to hit a draw. If you're trying to hit a fade, not so much, okay? But if you're trying to hit a draw, then yes, you need to have your body pointed to the right, and you need to have your club face closed slightly to how you're standing, okay? That's to hit a push draw, one that will start to the right target and come back. I wouldn't be all concerned about setting up square, because there's nobody that sets up square and hits a straight shot. Okay, Iron Byron doesn't hit the ball straight. They're all curving it one way or the other. However, again, if you're a right-handed golfer and you get set up square and you're used to setting up slightly closed, it is going to feel like you're open way left. But again, your setup is going to determine what kind of ball flight you're trying to hit. So again, if you're trying to hit a draw, then you do want to take your body lines and aim them slightly right. Okay? If I'm trying to hit a fade, I want to take my body lines, which helps control the path of the club, to the left. Okay? Setting up square, except for just the shortest of short shots, I would not recommend it at all. Okay? And looks like we have one more question here. And this question is from John. Well, John, we already covered that. You always aim to the right and you have a hard time getting it correct. So again, going through your pre-shot, stand behind your golf ball, and I probably stand, personally for me, I probably stand 10 to 15 feet behind the ball. I'll make my practice swing back here, because I want to make my practice swing on the line I want to hit the shot, okay, not inside of it. I'll pick out my intermediate target, walk up focused on that intermediate target, set the club face at the intermediate target, and then align my body to the club face. Take one more look at your intermediate target, take it back, and fire, okay? So that's all the questions we had this week. I want to thank you guys. Again, send in your comments with your questions. We'll try to answer your questions every week. We pick one out of all the ones that we get. If you're having trouble with your golf game, you want to work together one-on-one, come on down to sunny, beautiful Phoenix, Arizona. And until next week, we'll see you guys.